Hi friends, good morning. So it is officially Tuesday, August 2nd. I didn't do any filming yesterday. Yesterday was my birthday, so I didn't film anything for this vlog. It was an amazing day. My partner was so good to me all day, spoiled me rotten, and all of you were wonderful, sending all of your happy birthdays, and I really appreciated each and every one of you for that. I just realized there's something I forgot, so hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, so since we last chatted, there is one thing that I've read that I haven't talked to you guys on video about, and that is Kowloon Generic Romance. This is the new series by Jun Miyazaki, who does After the Rain. After the Rain is one of my favorite artistically speaking series. The art in it is amazing, and yes, so I've been anticipating Kowloon ever since I finished After the Rain, because I'm like, anything by Jun Miyazaki I'm picking up, and this volume honestly did not disappoint. So essentially we're in this dystopic kind of story. We are in the city of Kowloon, which is a walled-in city, and we're primarily following, I believe her name is Riko. Yes, Riko. And just kind of her daily life. She works at a real estate office, so they help set people up with their apartments in Kowloon. There's like the manager boss person, and then her coworker. I just spaced on his name. Kudo. And she and Kudo have a very interesting relationship together. They spend a lot of time together outside of the office hours, and you get to know both of them throughout the course of this volume. But there are some mysteries and surprises woven in here. This is definitely more mystery psychological than After the Rain. After the Rain was purely slice of life. This does have that slice of life element, meaning you're just kind of following them in their daily lives, but there are interesting mysteries woven throughout. This is going to be a very different series than After the Rain, but I am so on board with all of this. This did come sealed, and I'm pretty sure I know why. Other than the drawing of Riko here in it is slightly suggestive throughout. There is a moment where he's basically in a movie theater watching porn, so I'm pretty sure that's why it was sealed. But there's a lot going on here. There's a lot to take in. I'm so on board. I cannot wait for the next volume already. I did end up getting this volume like early, like happy birthday early to me. I got it like right after I filmed my last clip. It was at work the next day. So yes, would 10 out of 10 recommend picking this one up. If you love the way the mystery is woven in through something like Something's Wrong with Us, this is definitely going to have that same woven mystery within it. But this one is less revealing so far than Something's Wrong with Us. But if you like a good slice of life, I think you'll still enjoy this. Like, I'm so on board. Like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. And yes, I'm madly in love with it. Go pick it up like yesterday. Pick it up as soon as you can. Okay, so that is all that I read since the last clip in my last vlog. So quickly, let's talk about what I read yesterday. So as you guys are probably familiar with now, I am doing a Tackle My TBR challenge with Maeve over at Maeve Ever Reading. We're primarily hosting this on Instagram. Of course, I'm going to be talking about it here on my YouTube, but I didn't do like a formal announcement. So we're both feeling behind on series. Like, we both have multiple series where we have multiple volumes that we're behind on. So we're kind of focusing on that throughout the month of August, and we want to try to catch up so we can more easily like maintain our manga TBRs. So that's going to be a big focus of my reading this month. I'm also going to be focusing on arcs because I am desperately behind and I need to catch up. So with that said, I have not picked out my current arc yet. I will pick that out while I'm at work today. But what I did read yesterday was volumes 2 through 5 of Skip and Loafer. Now, Skip and Loafer is an amazing high school slice of life. It is technically a seinen title. I love our characters so much. This is definitely, if you're in it for the romance side, it's definitely slow burn. Mitsumi, our female character, is really still kind of naive in a way, that she comes across almost childlike sometimes, which is a really good counterpart to Shima, who was a child actor, has seen the dark, gritty side of the world, and so she balances him in a way he needs. and he's very caring and considerate of her as well. As things develop throughout the volumes, we learn more about Mitsumi's caretaker, who is transgender. I will say that. Because I didn't pick up on that when I read the first volume, but it's a little more obvious as things go throughout. I think that's why volume 3 was sealed. There's another reason why volume 3 might have been sealed, but that's kind of a spoiler, so I'm not going to share. But none of the other volumes are sealed, so it's probably the other thing that I was talking about, because that's pretty much resolved quickly in volume 4. But anyhow, would 10 out of 10 recommend picking up Skip and Loafer. I'm so glad I got caught up on it. It's been so fun. This was just like the perfect chill thing to read as I was relaxing yesterday, and I'm very, very excited. So once I finished this, I got on my Instagram and I asked y'all what you wanted me to read. So with that said, I've got a couple of, I had it narrowed down to Inuyasha, Blue Period, or Monthly Girls Nozaki-Kun, and I believe it's Inuyasha that won. So that's going to take me a few days to work through. Let me double check my... Yes, it was Inuyasha. So I'm going to take Omnibus 10 with me to work. And then I'm going to start an arc. We'll see what I end up reading. I usually take multiple things so that I know how to feel. I'm on the verge of DNFing tomorrow, which makes me super, super sad, because I am just not caring and not enjoying this particular title right now. I'm going to give it my audiobook listening today to see if it gets any better. But right now, I'm really not loving the direction that the characters are taking. So with that said, I'm going to head off to work. I'm probably not going to wear makeup today. My allergies are being a brat. And so rather than wiping makeup all over my face all day, I think I'm just going to go barefaced, which is not my favorite idea, but it is what it is. So anyways, I love y'all. Thank you again so much for all the love yesterday. And, oh, I haven't shown you guys. I got a tiny Inuyasha. My younger brother got me the Funko Pop for Inuyasha, and he's just so cute. And he doesn't have shoes on. He's got his little clawed bare feet. I love it. Yes, I did open it out of the box. I still have the box. But I don't collect Pops necessarily for the collection aspect. I collect them. I just get the ones that I want. And so I don't feel bad opening them. Especially one that's, just a cute part of my manga collection. So yeah. Anyways, Inuyasha is going to be the next manga focus. That's going to take me a few days to work through, though. Then I work today and then I have 2 days off, so I might get it done by the end of day Wednesday, but we'll see. I'm just rambling now. I gotta go. Okay, love you, bye. So my reading happened much faster than I initially anticipated. So I have read Vizbig volume number 10, number 11, number 12, and number 13 for Inuyasha. I mean, I'm so deep in the series now, I can't say too much without spoiling things. Granted, this has been around forever, but there are a lot of the younger generation who probably haven't experienced Inuyasha yet, so I'm not going to say anything here. But I'm really enjoying reading this through for the first time. I mean, I've watched the anime a couple of different times now, but I'm reading it through for the first time, and it just has that, nostalgic feeling to it as I read it, which has been really fun, and I've really been enjoying it thus far. So, yes. Glad to have made progress. I'm at a standstill with Inuyasha for now because volume 14 is on the list of his things that need to get run again. 14, 16, and 18 are all on that list. So until I can track those down, I'm going to be on a pause with Inuyasha. I don't expect those to happen within the month. I would be shocked if they did. If they do, fantastic. I'll totally be reading it. But again, not counting on it, and I have plenty to read in the meantime. So, the next one that y'all chose from that list, I had 3 that I was super excited about, so you guys just kind of helped me pick the reading order of it. And that's going to be Blue Period. So I've got volume 5, 6, and 7 to get current on this series. And I've really been enjoying my time with the series. Very much looking forward to getting current, especially because the really cool teacher is on volume 7. So I'm really excited to see what that volume has in store for me. And then once I do that, I will get started on my Monthly Girls Nozaki-Kun volumes. I have volumes 6 through 12 that I need to read of that one. So I have 7 volumes. So that one's going to be a bit, those tend to go pretty quick. They're, comedy styles and they're shorter. So those tend to go pretty quick for me once I start going on them. So I have started another poll on Instagram for the next round of priority reading order. And again, I put the ones that I'm the most excited about that weren't already on my list, and just having you guys help me determine the order that I read them in. So far this has been working really well for me. It was really fun to read some Inuyasha. Now I'm going to read some Blue Period and then some Monthly Girls Nozaki-Kun. And I'll update you guys as I go along. I probably won't read too much more tonight though. Maeve is coming over tomorrow, so I want to make sure the loft is all tidy and clean and lovely for company. So that's what I'm going to work on the rest of this evening. And I have that doctor's appointment I've talked about in the last couple of vlogs tomorrow morning. So that's finally happening, so we can figure out what's going on with my poor dear body and why it's being a brat. Hello. So doctor's appointment was this morning. I kind of got the answers I was expecting to get, if I'm honest. I'm gonna have to go on some different medication to take better care of my body, which is not my favorite thing, and I do need to be more careful about what I'm eating. So that is something that I just have to do, and that's fine. With that said, I have gotten some reading done, so that's mostly what this is about. But the medications that I'm getting should help my health in general, help me feel a little bit better overall. I might have some mood things going on for a minute, but the rest of my health-wise, it should be a lot better from here on out. So let's talk about what I've read. So I did catch up on the rest of Blue Period. So I read volume 5, volume 6, and volume 7 while Maeve was over today. This series truly is brilliant at its core. Volume 6 concludes the first arc of the story, and volume 7 starts a new era for our characters. And this truly is a very unique series in how it's depicting art and how we're talking about art and the consumption that one can feel in regards to art and what happens when people challenge your art. Like, there's so much of the nuances, and I do think this is more all-encompassing with creativity in general that can be applied to video editing and filming, that can be applied to any sort of medium in which you're expressing yourself creatively. I think this has a lot that you can resonate with on a creative level, and it might, encourage you to look at yourself in a different way and to kind of reevaluate things. Either way, I'm finally caught up. Cannot wait for volume 8. Very, very excited to continue this series. Which is funny because when I first picked this up, I wasn't 100% sure about it, but I'm so far gone for it now, like it's not even funny. I did get a little more reading done this afternoon after Maeve left. I had started volume 6 of Monthly Girls Nozaki-Kun while she was here, but I was able to read volume 6, volume 7, and volume 8. I am going to stop there for my manga reading for today, just because I don't want to burn myself out too early in the month, because I have a lot I want to catch up on. So I'm going to pause here, and then tomorrow I've got the other 4 volumes of Monthly Girls Nozaki-Kun that I need to read, so I will pick it back up then. If you're not familiar, this is like a slice of life comedy about Nozaki, who creates manga, shoujo manga specifically, and it's about the girl who has a crush on him, who is the redhead on this cover, and about their friends and all the shenanigans that they get up to in high school. It's really just a lot of fun. This isn't going to be a really deeply moving series. This is just meant to be a fun look at high school life with a little bit of knowledge about manga thrown in there, just to spice things up a little bit. So with that said, this is just fun. It's not meant to be groundbreaking or earth-shattering or anything like that. I just have a great time when I read the volumes. And like I say, I don't want to burn myself out too early in the month. I mean, we're only on what, the 3rd today? Yeah, today's Wednesday, so it's the 3rd. So I don't want to burn myself out on the challenge too quickly. I've read so much so far. I'm very proud of the accomplishments I've made this week. One thing I do want to focus on, that's book-wise, is I want to finish up tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow between today and tomorrow. That was a lot of tomorrows in one sentence. But yes, I've got less than 2 hours left in the audiobook for that one. And I just want to finish it. Just before I talked to you last, I was kind of at this point where I wasn't sure I was going to keep going, but I listened to like another 2 chapters and I'm like, okay, we've kind of crested over the hardest part of this book for me. So from here, I think it's going to land really nicely. Something really intense is happening right now. So I want to kind of focus on that and finish that. So I'm going to get into Minecraft. I'm going to build a little bit, just listen to my audiobook and just enjoy myself the rest of the afternoon. Once I finish that, I'm physically reading You Had Me at Ola. What was my other? I have another Libro influencer book that I've picked up recently that I wanted to start next. Oh, A Broken Blade by Melissa Blair. That's one I do physically own as well, so I'll probably read that. I have not started an arc yet. I almost did at the doctor's office and then they called me back. So I will pick out an arc also by the next time I talk to you. So this long-winded update is brought to you by Chaotic Me on a day off. With that said, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Good morning, friends. So I just finished Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. Now, at the midpoint of this book, I wasn't sure I was going to continue, if I'm completely honest with myself. I was struggling. I was frustrated at the characters. They were making really stupid decisions, and none of it was making sense to me. But then I feel like we kind of crested over a hill, and that downslope more than paid off. I am going to give this book a 4-star rating. Just because of the frustration that I felt. This wasn't as effortless a read as Storied Life of AJ Fikry. That's still my favorite Gabrielle Zevin to date. But this is a good book. You just have to know you're going to be frustrated with the characters. So essentially, throughout this book, I talked about it a little bit in my last vlog, but I'm just going to briefly summarize here, since these are my final thoughts. Essentially, we're following the life spans from like the mid-90s to present day of Sam and Sadie. Sam was a kid who got in a car accident, broke his foot in 20 some odd places, and was in the hospital a lot, hadn't talked to anybody for a long time. And then Sadie walks into the room and they play video games together and he actually engages and talks with her. And that's where their friendship starts. Once they hit college age, they decide to start making video games together. And it's kind of following their careers and their lives from there. So essentially what this book boils down to is the power of friendship, the grief when you lose someone close to you, and how sometimes friendships are more valuable than romantic relationships in a way. You definitely have to have the triggers for death of a loved one, very severe depression, postpartum depression as well. There's a lot, and this is a heavy, heavy book. It does a lot of heavy lifting. But as Gabrielle Zevin does, the heavy lifting is done really well. Oh, I also need to put a trigger out there for a domestic abuse situation. Sadie's college relationship and the one after college with the same person was not healthy in any way, shape, or form. But I really did love where this book landed. Like I said, I was very frustrated with the first half of this book, I would say. So I do think it's worth pushing through. I do think it had a great payoff. I do think it was probably a little over long. This was about 100 to 150 pages longer than Story Life of A.J. Fikry, and I'm not sure that did this book many favors. It does get very technical when they get into building the video games, and if you're not a super familiar gamer, a lot of the references that they make will not make sense to you. If you love video games, and if you love Gabrielle Zevin, I do think this book is worth a read. It is very literary fiction. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to say. Sam and Sadie are never romantic. I will put that out there. There are other romances that come in and out for both of them. But yes, there's a lot of loss. There are several deaths throughout the course of the book. There is a terrorist-style moment in there as well. That's kind of a spoiler, but I feel like I need to put that out there as a trigger. There is gun violence. Just know that this book does a lot of heavy lifting, but it is done in an artful and masterful way, and I really am glad I stuck with it. Like I said, I was about to give up, and I decided to stick with it anyway. So with that said, I'm going to get back to You Had Me at Ola and start an arc. I need to go through my arc list and pick one out. I think I'm going to do the Mona Schroff one. It's the Second Chance something. But I think that's going to be the arc that I start. Audiobook-wise, I think I'm going to go back to Well of Ascension. I was going to start a different one, but I'm just craving that familiarity and a reread. So I'm going to go with the audio of Well of Ascension because that is a reread for me. So since I'm craving that like reread comfort kind of thing, I'm going to go for that. But yeah, so that's where I'm at this morning. I've got to go take care of a few things and then I'll come back. I've got some filming to do and some editing to do. I'm going to do some productivity sprints with friends later this afternoon to kind of keep us motivated and whatnot. So with that said, I'm going to go and I will chat with y'all later. Hello, friends. We've been spending a lot more time in my office lately. I've just been, now with my new desk set up, it's just been nice. So let's chat about what I've gotten read so far today. This is officially Thursday the 5th? Friday the 5th. Friday the 5th. Oh my goodness. I'm losing track of days, y'all. I'm losing track of days. Anyways, I did finish up getting caught up on what I have of Monthly Girls Nozaki-Kun. Volume 13 is out. My store did not have it. When I was looking, someone else had already come and picked it up. So when I can get a hold of that, I will sneak that in this month as well. So with that, I'm current on Nozaki-Kun, as current as I can be. This is still really fun and really cute and full of shenanigans. I do think this one is better, like, consumed slowly rather than consumed all at once. When I get into 4-koma comedy style series, I think it's better to, like, throw a volume in every so often with other things you're reading rather than to read them all at once. So yeah, yes, I'm glad I'm current, but I may not even read 13 this month. I may wait just because something like this back to back to back to back to back could burn me out. So I'm glad it didn't this time. I was able to consistently, I read 3 volumes yesterday for today. I did read another volume as well. This wasn't technically on, it was in my picture of my TBR, but this one wasn't like one that I've put in a poll because I just had 1 volume to be caught up. And I just felt like reading it today, so I went ahead and read that as well. And that is Beyond the Clouds, Volume 4. This is essentially like Studio Ghibli meets Final Fantasy. There's a mystery about a young girl named Mia, and Theo is this sweet young man who's going to help her along the way. This is a new friend that they made. I expect to see that friend again. And it's really beautiful artistically. It's one of my favorite. Definitely has a lot of steampunk kind of elements to it, which is something you don't see a ton of in manga. And I think this is done in a really beautiful way and a way that actually really works for me. Steampunk doesn't always work for me, but the fantasy elements of this make the steampunk work a little better for me. So I love Beyond the Clouds so much. I was sitting on this volume a little longer than I wanted to initially, but I'm so glad I've read it now, and I'm just very, very happy. So I don't think I'm going to read any more manga tonight. I'm going to save a lot of manga for like tomorrow and Saturday. But tonight, reading wise, I am going to focus on The Second First Chance by Mona Shroff. This is one that I had a digital arc for, but it is physically out now because I'm behind. And I love Mona Shroff. Everything I've read by her has been 5 stars. I've loved it. So I'm very much looking forward to another one. This will be the fourth Mona Shroff book that I've read. And I am very, 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 very excited to read this. So this is going to be my focus for tonight. I've had a headache trying to spike on and off today. I've taken some meds for it, so I'm doing okay for the moment. Another thing I want to do is I want to play some video games tonight, so I might not get too much reading done. I think I'm going to play some Stardew Valley. I might play some modded Minecraft with my husband. I'm not 100% sure yet. So, yes, video games are going to happen. A little bit of reading is going to happen. And I think I have like 4-ish hours left in my reread of The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. I'm really enjoying my reread of that just as it's going along. I want to reread the entire, both eras of Mistborn before the next book comes out. Because it's been so long, I've just forgotten a lot of the little nuances, and Brandon's full of those. So, anyways, I'm going to take a break from reading, just veg out a little bit. I'm going to watch some YouTube and just kind of veg for a bit. Husband should be home soon. So we'll chat about our days, do dinner, all that kind of stuff. So, with that said, I'm really pleased with the progress that I've made, and I will chat with you guys once I've read some more. Hello. So it's much later. Plans have changed a little bit. I have not started Second First Chance by Mona Shroff yet, but I did finish another manga series tonight, and that is Cardcaptor Sakura. So I have now finished the entire series for the first time, and I do understand and respect where this series is coming from. I do think there are some problems inherently woven within the series, and that there is things that haven't necessarily aged the best. But overall, I do think this series is definitely a staple in Magical Girl, and I can see why. Not just because it's Clamp and their amazing art style, which is top tier. I will stand Clamp forever. Like, that is just who I am. But the way that the Clo cards and the magic system all work together is actually quite brilliant. I think it was very clever to do that with this series. All of the art obviously is the Clamp fantasticness. But I don't... Like, this one does... I would probably reread all of it straight through now that I have it all. Because I've just been reading these as the collector's editions have been releasing for the first time. So I think I'm going to do like a Magical Girl Showdown or something. Reread this one, reread Magic Knight Rayearth, and reread Sailor Moon. And kind of rank them and tell you what's aged well, what works, what doesn't. All that kind of stuff. Because there are some inherent problems in Cardcaptor Sakura. There's a couple of relationships that really should not be relationships. Let's be real. But with that said, I am very happy that I have another series that I am completely done collecting and I don't have to worry about finding any more of. And that's done. I am just going to read some Mona Shroff tonight, or I might just veg out and watch YouTube. I haven't decided yet. I do work tomorrow, so I do need to get up at a decent time, and it's like 9:30ish right now, so I should probably start winding down for bed anyway. But again, very pleased with where I got tonight, and had some enjoyable time this evening with my husband as well. And yeah, I've also been getting really good feedback that you guys are enjoying the vlogs. That makes me super happy, because I feel like I can just kind of spew all of my thoughts at you and y'all understand what I say. And so that's great. I'm very excited about that. And I hope you guys enjoy continuing to get this vlog format, because with my work schedule being the way it is, I feel like this works really well for me, because then I can just tell you as I'm reading things, or if I get a little bit behind, I'm only catching up on 3 or 4 things instead of 12 things where I've forgotten things. So yeah, I'm so glad to hear you guys are enjoying it. But that's it for me tonight. I won't check in again till tomorrow night at the earliest. So with that said, I'm just glad I've got lots of content ready to go for you guys, and I will chat with you soon. Hi friends, good morning. It is Sunday morning. I am fresh from the shower. And I took yesterday off from vlogging. I decided to just kind of work yesterday and chill yesterday. Saturdays tend to drain a little more energy from me just because they're busier. So I ended up just not worrying about it. But I did get some reading done, so that's what I'm here to talk to you about. First up, I did get around to finishing The Second First Chance by Mona Schroff. This book is brilliant. We have a female firefighter and a male veterinarian, so we have 2 very smart, very intelligent characters who, as children, experience a shared trauma when both of their homes catch on fire. They were neighbors, and they both react to that tragedy and trauma differently. They both lose a family member, so this does deal with grief and loss and this shared trauma of a fire. So if those are triggers for you, please tread cautiously. Schroff, I think, does a great job of being considerate to people who have experienced these things. So she's usually very sensitive with her writing, so I've always been okay with her triggers. But I do like to mention that there's usually a few in these more traditionally sized Harlequins from her, just because she goes a little more emotional than she does with like her category romances, for example. But in this one, a dog that she finds at a fire that's a rescue is injured, and so she takes it to this vet clinic, and that's kind of how they meet again. And it's really sweet. It has everything that you need. It is very slow burn because these 2 basically have to go back to square one and start over, but it's brilliant. I love them so much. This journey was amazing. Anytime you have a chance to read a Mona Schroff, I do recommend it. I read 4 of her 5 titles that she currently has published, and I have adored every single one. These traditionally published kinds tend to be more 5 stars for me. Her categories sit around like a 4.5 for me. They're still very enjoyable. She has this great way of weaving family and culture into every story. So it's just very important. She's doing great work, and she is a woman of Indian descent, I believe. But she is a woman of color, so definitely we love to support women of color. We just do. I know I am a white woman, but I love to support other women, no matter who they are in what they're doing, and this is a beautiful piece. I do have a Goodreads review and an Instagram post about this particular book, so if you want my more specific thoughts, you can always go there, but I really loved this one. And then I did get a little manga reading done in the evening. I started my next series to finish, and that was Maison Ikkoku. I'm pretty far behind in Maison Ikkoku. So I read Omnibus 4 and Omnibus 5 last night. Originally I thought I'd play some video games and stuff, but I just ended up reading. It was really enjoyable. Took them slow, and I just got these 2 read. So today I'm hoping to get 6, 7, and 8 done so that Maison Ikkoku is caught up before the end of this vlog. I do have something to help me with that this morning. My girl Izzy is doing some sprints, so I'm going to join her for those. So I'm very, very excited to get that going and get some reading done and have some fun with my friends. It's going to be great. I'm very excited. And then I'll probably come back and do one more clip to wrap up this vlog. I've gotten a lot of reading done this week, especially in my manga that I've been neglecting, so I'm very, very excited to be continuing that adventure with Tackle My TBR. It's been going very well. Thank you to everyone who's joining us and doing it with us this month. It's never too late to join. You're welcome to join us at any point. And even if you only read one book or finish one volume that you needed to catch up in a series, it's all valid. All reading is valid. So don't hesitate to join us just because I'm reading a ton of quantity. Maeve's been doing quite high quantity as well. I mean, she read all of Sacrificial Princess. So don't worry about that. You don't have to keep up pace with us. We both did this to motivate ourselves to get caught up because we both have giant TBR piles that we wanted to work down. That's why we wanted to do this challenge. And we thought to just invite everyone along with us. But no matter what you read, it's valid and we love you for it. So anyways, I will talk to you guys in the next clip. Hello! So I've just finished 3 hours of reading sprints with Izzy and her members. So we had a good time. May from This Past Romance was with us as well. And it was just a really good set of sprints. I got a lot of reading done because I was able to finish up Volume 6, Volume 7, and Volume 8 of Nozaki-Kun. So when it comes to Nozaki-Kun, we'll hold this one up because it's a pretty cover. I have my struggles with the series because I feel like certain tropes within it are very dated and they don't necessarily hold up to the manga that I read now, but I can appreciate what Nozaki-Kun was doing at its time. And it's not necessarily going to make me stop reading it, but Godai is basically a wet blanket. And Kyoko deserves better than Godai or the tennis pro. Like, they just deserve better. Like, she deserves better. She's great. She's very understanding. I do think of the two guys, Godai would be kinder to her in the long run. Because the chances of the tennis pro cheating feel very high to me just because of his personality. But anyways, that's probably me projecting onto the poor tennis pro. But anyways, I really love the amount of time that has passed over the course of the series at this point, because they've known each other for like 5 or 6 years now. And she's finally starting to get over the loss of her husband and starting to feel ready about remarrying. And she keeps giving Godai chances, and the tennis pro is relentless, and I don't really like him because there's somebody else who's perfectly good and perfectly beautiful for him and is crazy about him, but he won't give her the time of day because he's hung up on Kyoko. And so it's got some dated weirdo things kind of like that, but Inuyasha had that too. So I'm just it's a Takahashi thing in her older titles. So yes, I still really enjoy it and I've been having a good time with it. So I'll still continue to collect these and read these, but for now I am current. So I think I'm going to wrap this vlog here. I've gotten a lot of reading done this week. I'm really proud of what I've gotten read because I read quite a bit of manga and then I got 2 books finished, which makes me happy. Yes, this reading month is definitely going to be much more heavily manga, so I'm sorry if that's not really why you're here. But because of the challenge, I really am trying very hard to catch up. So I think I'm just going to kind of take the rest of the day, chill out, maybe watch a movie with the husband. We'll see. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you're here just because you love me, leave me some sort of beach-themed emoji as we're coming to the close of summer. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Was it all just a dream, just all in my head?